Here we are in AutoCAD with CAP Designer loaded. This drawing is, I would say, about an average size, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit bigger than your average project that you use in CAP, but it's going to work for what we want to show today. This drawing has many different stations in it, and there's many different ways that you might want to organize your drawing. You can organize it with CAP bounds, you can organize it with color blocking using just AutoCAD functionality, but the most common way that people break things up inside of their drawing is by using tags. We can do a lot more with these tags now, because now we have building, floor, department, and person. Now these are some truly meaningful terms. They're not just alias, they're not placeholders for something else. You can actually assign a building, floor, department, and person value within your drawing. How are we going to go about breaking this area down? In this particular floor plan, this area is the software development department. So I'm going to assign tags to these items for software development. We can call it soft dev short. We're going to turn the display to on. We're going to select these parts. Comes back to verify everything. I can set the custom text size and the custom layer the same way I could for alias values. We're not going to do anything with those. I'm going to hit assign. So now you see on all these items, they now have these tags applied to them. Depending on the item, the tag may be right next to it, it may be off a little bit, but the text is related with the item. So actually I know specific people that are going to sit in each one of these stations, so now we're going to apply the person variables. We're going to set this one to Eric. I'm going to set it on, select objects. So Eric gets his name added to all of the items that are within his station. Let's go through and apply values for other departments. Here we have information development. Let's assign the info dev values to these items. And we know some of the people that are going to be sitting here. I'm going to have Dave sit here. Going to have Jim sit right behind him. We're just going to call these future. So there we have a bunch of department values and values for person assigned to these items. If you were to have a very large drawing where you would have multiple floors, you might also assign a floor value to this entire floor, a different value to a different floor. If you have a very large project, you could actually break it out by building as well. So building, floor, department, person from largest to smallest. But for this particular sample, we're only going to have department and people. So I'm going to save this file. Now, what we did here is we broke things apart by building, floor, department, person, and sometimes alias tag within our drawing, which is useful for the drawing. The real value of these items that we just applied comes when you do a worksheet takeoff. And it happens when you go into the actual worksheet itself and you see that these items are separated by their departments. So we're going to do a worksheet takeoff. So we've done a worksheet takeoff off of our drawing with our items that had the alias or the building, floor, department, person values set on them. The template that we have by default doesn't have the columns turned on that we want, so let's turn those on. They're in the tagging section. We're going to turn on department and person because those are the ones that we used. Now you can see the values shown here in the department and person column. And what we're going to do next is another value that you get from these extra assignable values from the drawing is that we can sort by these items. So we're going to do a multiple sort. And we're going to insert subtotals. So I want to sort by department, and then within each department, let's sort by person. So since there's many items that didn't actually have those values set, those start at the top. And then we start to get down to the ones that we did assign to. So customer service is a $136,000-ish. Information development, about 143, and so on and so forth. So that shows you the value of the ability to assign those fields within the drawing spills over into worksheet and allows you to do a lot more with worksheet. Something that I'll add here also is that When you have assigned a value to a standard, when you flatten that for your final order, or you flatten it for a spec check, the values that you apply to the standard, they get pushed down onto the items within the standard. So even though I assign this to this information development right-hand station, it actually will get pushed down to the individual parts and pieces when that standard gets flattened later on in the project process. So there it is. There is the highlights of building floor department person, why you might want to use them, and ways that you can use those values within Worksheet. Thank you.